A very good evening and a very warm welcome to all my dear friends here who have finally now become a part of this mentoring program, which we are starting today for the NCW initiative, Empowering Women Through Entrepreneurship. Heartiest congratulations, because you have completed training with IIMB for 5 weeks. You went through a very rigorous selection procedure for mentorship. I understand the trouble, difficulty, your individual struggles, and all of it. In spite of all these limitations, you have been able to make it to this first cohort of 230 women. I mean, I'm very glad, actually. So I'm kind of a little overwhelmed to begin this session. So please pardon me for that. Today's session about assessing opportunities and assessing business potential. Let me first make it clear to you about some ground rules of these program. What is the process we are going to follow? What is it that you are expected to do? And how is it that we are all going to empower? Screen not visible. I'm sorry, we don't have any presentation at the moment. So you'll have to check your network, Nancy. So, the entire exercise or this entire mentorship program of 5 to 6 weeks is mainly to enrich each other with the knowledge, information, and empower each other with mentoring, support, and whatever guidance and hand holding that would be required to each one of you, actually. So some ground rules is that we will have weekly, we will have these mentoring sessions. There are 4 group sessions, and last 2 sessions are on one-to-one basis. So today's session is going to be a common session. Thereafter, we would like to create sectoral groups so that we are able to focus more on sectoral basis. I understand that many of you have business ideas, and these business ideas at some point or the other, yes, you can change your idea. There are a lot of people who have been asking me this. So by the end of first and second mentoring session, so in this initial 2 weeks, you should be able to figure out what ideas you want to pursue, what is the business stream you want to pursue, the sector that you want to pursue. And today's session that we have should be your basis to figure out and reaffirm, reassert what business idea you are going to pursue for this particular mentoring program, which you finally want, that should become your enterprise. So I would like to invite our President, Shri Vinod Kumar, to conduct this first session today. Meanwhile, after this session, you will be given an assessment form. We will be mailing you this assessment form on your email, as well as most of the communication we are going to do on WhatsApp group, because it's very easy to post these links which you can directly access, because most of the links we create are mobile friendly. So accessing that on mobile is very easy. Also, secondly, many of you are unable to receive mails because we gather that some or the other person has there is a time lag. You are not able to check emails on time, or there is any other email ID that you are operating with. So please ensure that we have your right email IDs on the WhatsApp group. Please write to admin. If your WhatsApp number is not connected, please give your right WhatsApp number. So please share so that you do not miss out on this information. See, many a times, please take this as an opportunity, because many a times we are looking for the right kind of hand holding, mentorship, and you don't get that kind of support. But here, including us, you had IIMB, you have NCW, and you are going to meet many mentors during your one-to-one session, not during these addressing sessions, because these sessions are mainly going to be done either by Vinod sir or by me, because we would like to share our experiences with entrepreneurs, with our members, and that's what we would like to pass it on. Thereafter, when we create sectoral groups, that's when we would like to hand over you to the respective mentors. So till then, it's like we would like you to be our responsibility, and we would like to give you necessary direction, any kind of hand holding, and knowledge support till you actually understand what business you want to pursue. When you have got a path ahead, when you know what idea you want to create your enterprise with, so there is some clarity that you have already got. So with that, I will pass it on to Vinod sir. Maybe I will come back in the end with some more ground rules. Please post your questions in the Q&A section. Sir will answer it at the end of the session. We will also give you an opportunity to speak at the end of the session. You please raise your hand. So there is a raise hand icon in the bottom of the screen. So you can raise your hand if you have anything to ask at that point of time. And of course, at the end of the sessions, on the same day, we will post the link for assessments, which you need to fill in, preferably in 48 hours. But if there is any issue, see, this entire exercise is to support you and help you. So if there is any genuine issue, please do write to us, and we will see how to support you with that. So without wasting further time, over to Vinod sir.
Thank you, Sushma ji. It was such a pleasure. And it is extremely exciting to see all our friends here today that we've been talking about and that we've been discussing in terms of sectors, in terms of what they are doing, the backgrounds, the states they all come from. Well, it's a real privilege to be here. And as Sushma ji already did talk about, well, we are talking about two things. One is that we will try and get everybody on board. The areas of mentoring will start from branding, marketing, assessing the potential of your business, to looking at how we can help you get scale, to looking at how you should create a vision, plan, goal setting. And not only that, but also about how do you fund your business? How do you find the right finance? What are the prerequisites for it? And also how to connect you to the right people that invest. In my personal experience, I have invested in few small and medium enterprises. And I primarily look at enterprises that are in the growth phase, that are across the proof of concept, and that now need financing. And I do look at financing, which is quasi debt, which is like till the time you are able to improve and go on board an exchange or able to raise other money, it will be like a debt. It does not need to be serviced, but in case things go wrong, then it will need to be serviced. And in terms of returns, well, we expect that all our entrepreneurs that we work with, that I work with primarily, need to convince me of the idea that they have and why they are the right people to run that business. And thereafter, we only bother them twice a year as to what is happening. And investments range from 1 million to around 10 million US dollars. So that is the number that we are primarily looking at. But that's about me personally. Coming back to the topic here, why we chose this topic, because a lot of friends from amongst you talked to Sushma and said that, or talked to all the people there and said that we are not sure about which sector we want to be in. So we need support there. And that is how we wanted to talk about, the fact that most of you are talking about, what is this sector's outlook? What is the potential? Which sector should I work in? So in order to support you and help you in finding out what you should do for those that have not yet decided on a business, and for those that have already decided on a business, to evaluate whether that is the best opportunity that they can do. There's only one lifetime. And in this one lifetime, looking at what all you have gone through, looking at assessing your ideas, the possibilities that all of you have, we feel that each one of you can have $1 million business. And I'm not exaggerating, I'm just telling you the truth. That is the way it is. Sorry. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of people raise hands. So, okay, cool. So I'm going to start talking about what are we talking about in terms of assessing opportunities. And today, the first thing that all of us need is to find a problem. Because wherever you feel there is a problem is where is the opportunity. Now, if you'll ask me, here also pessimists primarily see only difficulties in problems. But every optimist, every entrepreneur for that matter, most entrepreneurs are optimists, because we like to look at the better side of everything, the greener side of everything. Rabia, I'll try and speak in Hindi, but we have people from all over the country. That's why I was trying to stick to English, because we might have problems for people down from South. And there's quite a few from the South also. But कोशिश करूंगा मैं कि बीच-बीच में जहां तकलीफ हो वहां मैं हिंदी में explain करूं. Idea is that जब problem है तभी opportunity मिलेगी. जहां पे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है वहां पे अपॉर्चुनिटी की आप अपेक्षा भी मत करिए. मैं आप सब लोगों से एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं. A question to all of you. We know, I'm not putting up a picture here, but we know a woman who is from one of the cities, smaller cities in Maharashtra. During COVID, during the first wave of COVID, she's got 3 daughters. And during the first wave of COVID, she lost her husband. She was not able to provide food for her children also, because she had no idea where the money was, what her husband earned, whether he had a bank account. She had absolutely no idea. Now with that, she came to a point, then what is it that she can do, and what is it that she needs to do? And she almost started begging people in her locality for support. So certain people came forward and helped her for a few days. A lot of other people felt, okay, it's COVID, we need to support, gave her some money, etc., etc., etc. And then one day, one of her neighbors who had a farm, that neighbor gave her half a sack full of potatoes. Potatoes, we all know, aloo. So I want to ask all of you, God not willing, if any of you, अगर आप में से कोई इस सिचुएशन में होते कि आपके 3 बेटियां हैं, 3 बच्चे हैं और आप पति जो है बेचारे गुजर गए कोविड के पहले इसमें, तो अब उस सिचुएशन में आप क्या करते? क्या करना चाहिए इस औरत को? क्योंकि बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है इनके पास, बच्चों को कहीं छोड़ के जा नहीं सकते. I want all of you to be more interactive with me on the chat till the end of the session. Thereafter, we can. So Isha is saying get a job. Ulka is saying make something out of potatoes and sell. Tiffin service. Yes, yes, take your time. Khyati is saying replant them. Use the potato to grow more potato. Very good. Somebody saying aloo paratha. Arey bhai, aloo to theek hai, but where will she get the atta from? She needs atta also. Look for, okay, we have somebody who is saying batata vada. Very good, very good. Excellent. So, lot of good ideas here. Now, let me tell you what she actually did. We are not using the woman's photograph or anything. She sprouted these potatoes, the ones that she put in water. She sprouted some of them and planted some of them in the land behind her house. Few days later, she found that they had taken root. Prachi saying alcohol out of potatoes. Love the idea. And she then thought that maybe she can sell these potatoes, but figured out it's not a very big amount of money that she can make. But a lot of people during COVID were without their families, did not have much to, not many places to go and eat in. So she started making potato-based meals from home. It is 2.5 months now she has a stall, where we have this batata vada and pav in Maharashtra, that she is now selling. And now the second question to all of you, how many of you can tell me what does she earn today, even during this time where Maharashtra is not completely out of the COVID curbs? तो आप लोगों के हिसाब से क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 मैं पूछ रहा हूं कि क्या what is the money that she must be making at this point in time? Very good. After taking out her expenses, she is making around 1,200 rupees per day. So that is what a problem can be. Her husband earlier used to stay on a salary of 18,000 rupees per month. So 12 to 1,300 rupees a day essentially means she's making more than 35,000 rupees per month. It is much more money than a normal job for a person with no skills. That is what an enterprise means. That is what an opportunity means. Where every small thing you do has to deliver money to you. If it does not give you money, it is a wasteful exercise. Stop doing it, I would say. We keep on telling that, oh, I'm investing in business and it will come back and things will happen. That's all fine. But unless the business gives you money, the basic thing for which all of us look at problems and look at solving them. Now, there are problems of various kinds. One problem is jahan pe it is problem with us. So we are facing the problem. And the second part of it is where somebody else is facing a problem and you offer a solution. Now, the solution can be a product, it can be a service, it can be whatever. But without a problem, if you start a business, it is not going to go very far. And I'll give you enough examples. We say any problem can be an opportunity, but all opportunities may not be problems. First, but how to convert a problem to an opportunity is the most important thing. If there is no problem, there'll be no opportunity. So find your problem. Instead of keeping on asking me all the time or Sushma ji all the time, what sector is Sunrise? Let me at the outset tell you all the Sunrise sectors. Now, when I mean by Sunrise, what I mean is that the government works on promoting certain sectors which they feel are important, which they feel are the future, which they feel will give us a lot of opportunity in terms of employment, will make us money, etc., etc., etc. Fintech, how to do banking, how to do payments, very big area. Meditech, medical technology, medical devices, another very important area. We are far behind the rest of the world. Education tech. Prachi, I'm coming there. Education tech. Now, what do you mean by education tech? We are still using very primitive means of educating, but thankfully, like you learned on your own at IIMB, and now we are not in the same room, but we are still discussing and we are still training ourselves. So how do you use tech to train, to educate? Food processing will never be a sector out of bounds. It will create continuous employment for all of us. Agro produce. Just look at the amount of automation all of our farmers have. It is a pittance. There's huge possibilities in agro processing. And we have 3 women which are working in the agro processing sector, and all of them, let me tell you, grew from doing 2 lakh rupees a year turnovers to now they have crossed 100 crores, and we will share those examples, and we'll also get you to meet them, those that are wanting to go in the food processing sector. I don't know how many of you know, but there's a member that we have, a woman that we have called Manisha Datkar. She's from Nasik. So what support she has got, how she has progressed, we will share all of that with you. Auto components, automobiles. So you have electric vehicles, you have scooters, God knows what all. Because finally, all of these things keep on working, when it comes to transportation. The other part of transportation, which is aviation. Aviation is a big sector. Biotechnology, because none of us today have conquered health. So health is still something that is a concern area for most countries. So biotech. Healthcare, information technology and BPOs, huge potential. These are sunrise sectors that are designated by the government of India, and the government offers various types of incentives for all of us that want to go into these sectors. The other sectors which the government is laying stress on is smart cities, is leather industry, is our media and media tech industry, ports and shipping lines and all of that, renewable energy. How do you generate power? Retail and e-commerce, tourism and hospitality. Now, these are sunrise sectors, apart from priority areas like waste, water, environment. Those are priority sectors where every state is supposed to work immediately on all of it. So these are the basic sectors that I wanted to share with all of you. But nevertheless, unless you find a problem, please do not look at that as an opportunity. So what should we do as a woman if you are looking at an opportunity, if you already have a business? So What do you do there? You should understand whether you are actually solving a problem or fulfilling a need, or you are creating a desire to buy. Now, when you say creating a desire to buy or by observing trends, what do I mean? I ask all of you, what do I mean when I say creating a desire to buy or by observing trends? After retail, it was for tourism and hospitality there. Very correct. Very correct. All the right answers. You know, when you are trying to basically, you know, how many types of leggings do women have overall? Legging, jegging, God knows what all. I mean, I've forgotten all the names also, because I have two daughters and they keep on telling me, you know, they every time they go out, they say, we want to buy a new something. And I'm saying, what the hell is this? You already have it. So they said, no, there's a new trend in the market, so I need to buy that. So, and all of these things are aspirational. So you are very correct. Legging, jegging, comfort, plazo, God knows what all, Mahima. There's so many things. So another mechanism of actually creating an opportunity without a problem, basically. So how do we define an opportunity? We are defining an opportunity where it's a favorable set of circumstances with a good chance of success. There could be millions or thousands of opportunities, but unless you find there is something which has a good chance of success, you do not go forward and address that opportunity. It is going to be wasteful. Jasmeet, I won't make that decision for you about laundry and all that. I will teach you how to take that decision, whether it is good or not. So, how do you characterize opportunities? At the last one here, you find it can be a solution for a problem. The other very important thing should be that every opportunity that you find should be profitable. If it is not going to give you money, it is not an opportunity. Don't waste your money. You should write all these 5 things. It should have a favorable context. And by that, what do we mean? What do we mean by a favorable context? Very correct. Liked by majority. It should be something that society will find you filling in. You know, there should be a context to it. Not that, you know, I am doing something else and I then feel that, okay, this opportunity, let me try and do it, but I don't know how to do it. Very correct. Very correct. Lovely. I mean, I'm getting great answers from all of you. We move to the next. It has to be an important thing to do. You know, today we talk about so many things that India needs this, India needs that, we need this, we need that. Most importantly, when we talk about all of these opportunities, do we feel what are the most important things we need? You know, how many villages in India today do not have RO water? They are still drinking arsenic-laden water. How many villages in India have no drainage systems? How many villages in India get drowned every year due to floods? These are all problems that are important. And if you are too early in saying that, no, this, something like this is going to happen in 2 years, and you started before that, then obviously it is going to be a problem. What is the example of too early or too late? Too late, obviously you'll get a lot of examples. But what is the example for too early? Electric automobiles, this is the time. Very correct. Too early for India to invest in driverless cars because we will not change the way we drive because we don't have the roads for it. So no matter who will try, it's going to be a failure. So very correct. So you guys got the concept. So now, if I'm already doing an opportunity, a business, so what is my opportunity there? A lot of people come to me and tell me, sir, I'm already doing, I am already doing, let's say 20 crores. I don't think there's any more market for it. I tell them, Are Baba, look at China, for example, right now. How many of you know that China, exports from China have got extra tariffs in the US that they have to pay for importing Chinese products? All of you know? Yes? Excellent. Now, how many of you can tell me what is the total amount of Chinese export per year that has got tariffs? The amount of Chinese, it was in the newspapers. That's why I need all of you to buy, 200 crore dollars. Okay. Number is quite around there, but it's $200 billion. $200 billion worth of products from China that have got tariffs imposed on them up to 25%, which means Chinese products are costlier by 25%. Sangeeta, good job. So now, if you look at all of these 200 crores which China was exporting, if we today sell the same things from India, we will still be competitive. We'll still be better priced if we are able to create a demand. What we have done in the last 1.5 years, we've isolated close to 400 tariff lines. And by tariff lines, what do I mean? I mean HS codes or product codes that have potential in the international market, especially in the US market. And that competitiveness has come in because China has been levied these tariffs. So that all that is also an opportunity. So how do you on your own assess an opportunity? That's what I wanted to arm all of you with. The fact that, you should be able to decide for yourself that whether there is an opportunity or not, rather than Vinod telling you or Sushma telling you or somebody else telling you. First of all, if you are already a business, whether you can be a target for a merger or acquisition for somebody, when you want to expand, can you be taken over by somebody? And if yes, what is the cost of it? What could be the price that you could be available at? What are your consumer pain points? And is there anything available from the competition in that market? Are you a green field or not? And most importantly, what is the need of the customer? What is his behavior? And if you are going to be 2 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees costlier or cheaper, will that make a difference to the market? And are you still going to be profitable? That is the basics of how you basically look at an opportunity and assess it. Now, I give you certain numbers and certain ways to actually look at it. So what do we do first? First is you find that problem area that the customer has and you find what is the demand. And by that, you just don't let, very correct, you identify the gap, whether the demand is real. If because there are already people who are selling the same thing, then you also selling the same thing, it's not going to work. You will need to do something different. What is the market size? How much of the same product or service is already in the market? Is the market expanding that much more quickly, or is the market contracting? How many overall people are buying, whether it's B2B or B2C, business to consumer or business to another business? How easy is it to enter that business? Can suppliers bargain with you? Or as you as a supplier, can you bargain with the customer? Divya will come there. We'll tell you that also. Wait. What is the industry value chain? Where do you get the raw material from? It's imported, it's used, got here. And what are you selling? How are you packing it? How easy or difficult is it going to be for you to actually create a value chain? How intense is the competition tomorrow? If you come into the market, can the competition just kill you by, undervaluing their product? Can somebody new just out of an MBA college start the same thing that you are doing and get you out of business? So what is it that companies that have profitable growth, what have they done differently? Systematic, disciplined approach to expand the boundaries of their core business. So for example, today, if I am, people during the pandemic, all those that were making garments started making masks. All those that were making markets started doing other things, innovating on the side. And not only that, they started making disposable stuff. They started making, all sorts of things, primarily which were adjacent, which they could easily do. It was not impossible or difficult. So how do we then look at, what are the factors that will make you decide whether this opportunity is right or wrong? Does the government support what you are trying to do? Are the trade policies in place? Is the local geopolitical situation correct? Will the society primarily accept a product that you are talking about? What are the cultural norms? What are the social norms? And how can you primarily use technology to, use technology in your business to expand, to scale, to replicate, whatever else you want to do? Basic factors. We are still on the basic factors. Now, we just had a question on how do you find how do you do market research? How many of you know this gentleman who used to make crack cream? Crack cream. Can somebody tell me who makes crack cream? Ashwini, not Vaseline, yeah. Crack, there is a crack cream that we have, Boro Plus, Move, yes. Yes, crack cream. Which company makes crack cream? Pidilite. Are Baba, Pidilite makes Fevicol. If you put that on your foot, you'll not be able to lift it from the ground. Tarushika, very correct. It is Paras Pharma. Tarushika gave the right answer and Shushma also gave the right answer. It is Paras Pharma. Now, do you know, is Paras Pharma a very big company? How big a company is Paras Pharma? A lot of you have never heard about the company, but you have heard about Move, you have heard about Crack, you have heard about ItchGuard, you have heard about Dermicool. Very correct. All of us have heard these names. And this gentleman used to go, Devendra Bhai, used to go from city to city to figure out what were the issues on the ground, what people wanted. But there were no products for that. That is how he started this. Before crack, can somebody tell me what was the other cream that we were using for, bad feet, cracked feet? But Borolene was never made for that. It was supposed to be Khushbudar antiseptic cream Borolene. There was nothing specific for cracked feet. Very correct. People were using glycerin, all sorts of petroleum jelly, all sorts of things. But this guy, what he did was, he went to the market and figured out what do people want, what do people need. So he said that I am getting 12 problem areas. And those problem areas is what he was working on. So that's how all of these came. But few years later, he sold this company. Today, crack is owned by a company called Reckitt Beckneiser. And they bought all these 8 brands from Paras Pharma for 3,250 crores. Very, very simple. And today, do you know what is that gentleman doing? No, Pallavi, it was sold for 3,750 crores Indian rupees. 3,250 crores to Reckitt Beckneiser, the German multinational. And this guy, he could not now make the same products again. So he said, I have sold 8 products to them. I have 4 more product lines which are still not available in the Indian market, and I will bring them out. So do you guys know what is the other product that he's brought out now? Anybody can tell me? Eye cream, Himalaya, no. No. Hand cream, no. See, the problem is none of you guys read. If you are reading newspapers every day, you'll come to know. PCR machine, sanitizer, aloe gel, fog, Bharti Chandra, you've got it. Shreya, you've got it. Fog. India's #1 deodorant without gas. He said all the deodorants in India are available which are basically gas-based. So they don't last. So he said, I'm going to make India's #1 deodorant. And that is what he made. Fog for both women and for men. And let me tell you all, there's still 3 other product lines which he has not started yet. So if any of you can be lucky, you can figure out which are the other 3. And you can do all this by only putting your ears to the ground. Not by going to a fancy agency and trying to figure out what does India need. You have to go around, ask people, figure out, listen carefully, what is the need of people which is not available in the market today. So there is 3 more products which he says are still, he is not working on them. He is first trying to make this one company, then he will go to the other 3 also. And let me tell you, he sold Paras Pharma for 3,250 crores. And from there, now this company that he has today is worth over 5,000 crores. Form. So you first get feedback, market research from customers, from other vendors, from competitors, from industries, from markets, from products. But the most important part of it is from the customer. Non-irritating hand drops. Yes, I agree with you, Janki. You know, Sushma ji has also been telling me that there's a big problem with these hand drops. They are very irritating. So anyway, so I was just trying to give you an example here. So I'll move forward. Another case study for all of you. There's a guy who was working as a fitness professional in a gym. So all the gyms closed down. So everybody was saying, I'm not able to go out, so I'm now getting fatter. Actually, frankly speaking, I also put on a few kilos because, activity became much lesser. There was no gyms available. A lot of people wrote to him saying, Baba, can you help us with our exercises? So he said, I can do this online. So he first tried to do this over WhatsApp calling and all that. Then he figured out all the people that were coming to their gym, classified them on the basis of their age, weight, health status, etc. And prioritized his training over other things and created a page on Instagram. So if you go today to personality, Abhinanda, there is already a WhatsApp group. There's already a WhatsApp group all of you have, but after today we will open it, but there'll be certain do's and don'ts for that WhatsApp group. No good mornings, no good evenings and all of that. So, all of these case studies, if you look at, these are all case studies mostly that we have used are from during the pandemic. And these are all live. This guy is okay using his name and all that. So person to personality, very correct. Rahul. So if you look at the possibilities, the problems, the problem itself can be a great opportunity. We just don't know it. We can move with problems, identify solutions and move forward. So what are the issues when you are actually trying to find opportunities? First of all is whether there will be a return. If there is no return, there is no point. This opportunity is of no use. Then you can't stay on an opportunity for 1 year, 2 years and hope that it will still stay. It will not. The same idea that you have, the same problem that you may be faced with or you may figure out will also be available with 20 other people at the same time. So unless you move fast, it's not going to be there anymore. How do you creatively explore the opportunity, create a solution, convert it into a workable and marketable business? Returns, Tarushika, there can be various reasons, So there are certain businesses that I look at where returns can come over 3 years, some where it can come over 5 years. So there's no fixed number, but the business has to pay for you. So, and you have to get the ideas evaluated, do a proof of concept, and keep on finding newer opportunities. Because the day you stop finding newer opportunities, it's going to be over. Like for most companies, Ambassador Cars, Hindustan Motors, they stop finding opportunities. Nokia, they stop finding opportunities. Yes, sure. Please send me requests on LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, wherever you feel. I'm available, not a problem. Even on Twitter also. So I'll accept, but after this program, because I'm right now training all of you guys. So this is what Donald says. The fact that if you, number of things that we overlook on a daily basis, that is directly proportional to the number of opportunities that are there. So many things that we keep on missing on a daily basis. Problems. I had a friend, he started Red Bus. He used to travel from Bombay to Hyderabad on the weekend. He could not get a bus because he had to board midway from Vashi. So he said, yes, very correct, funny. So he said, Baba, I'm going to make a app. First, he made this app, which was primarily for, these bus guys. Then he would look at it the other way around, and that's how today you find red bus. Every bus operator today has red bus. The same thing goes for BNB. You know, if you are aware, if you are open to understanding problems around you, even of your own, you will be able to create solutions for everybody. Not only a niche, 5, 10, 50, 100, 200 people, but I'd say entire humanity for that matter. Zomato, it's gone throughout the world. You know, so many of the things that we have talked about. There's another simple thing, Pratibha ji, you know, she's an old mom. She was working earlier and she saw that, you know, her family was unable to get restaurant food. And she started making pizzas from the house. So her sons, both her sons pushed her, why don't you do a small venture? So what she does today is something that she has put together. It is now called Quarantine Bakery, Mommy's Kitchen, sorry. And she makes everything in-house. And can any of you guess what is the total business that she is doing today? She does around 100 orders per day. 100 orders per day. And all of these are just around us. And they are exactly people like you and me. And look at this woman, 67 years, 68 years of age today. You know, we just got somebody asking, how do you create a market opportunity? Well, very simple. You, whatever product there is already there in the market, you increase the value that you are offering or the service that you are offering. And you say, that's why, you know, there's a market opportunity for that. All of us used to go to the cinema to buy tickets. But now we pay 150, 200, 250 rupees extra to book my show. Very correct. To do what? Book those same tickets for us from the comfort of our homes. So that service, easy access, very correct. And they also used the second thing of it, which was new applications of existing means or technologies. Easy access and create mass markets, large markets. Don't think there are only 500 people who like XYZ, so I'm going to sell to them. Look at bigger numbers, really, really big numbers. And then how can you bring on various SKUs for, okay, this is going to be for this type of people, this is going to be for this type of people. And if you're able to allow further customization, people are still willing to pay more. Use the internet, use technology, use various modes that we have today of massive reach. You don't need to be on the ground all the time. Manage the supply chain. Obviously, this is a very, very basic thing. Process innovation on a daily basis in your company, in your enterprise, in your own mind, in your employees, in even your doorman at the office or at the home. Allow everybody to think beyond what is happening. And never start a business unless you have a clarity on how big it can become, how much it can scale. If you are not able to get that, it's going to be a problem. You will not get funding. We had somebody called anonymous attendee say, can we get recording of the session? There'll be no recording of the session, but we'll give you some matter and some assessments and some assignments also to apply. So please don't worry about that. Kripi, good to know that. Well, there's no proper number for scalability. I always say this, when we, in an entire lifetime, at the max, we may meet 50,000 people. But a business, an enterprise is the best way you can even reach up to 2 billion, 3 billion people. that many number of people will know you. That many number of people, their lives you can affect. Nothing better than that. Otherwise, in a normal life, 20, 30, 40,000 people is all that we know. And when we die, maybe 200 people turn up. Abhinanda, these slides are anyway part of most of the material that we have. And these are all from AC. Some of the trends that we are talking about, all of this you guys know, because you are now on Zoom with me. So growth in computing power, cloud computing, demographics, reach of the internet, mobile communications, personal area networks, changes in lifestyles. Very, very simple. And the fact that a lot of the population is aging, but you still need to have products which are from age 17 to 40. That is a very, 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 very big segment. Even though we might say, I have a lot of people who come to me, I have a great business opportunity for people that are 60 or over. Arey Baba, it's fine, 60 or over. We can definitely have a business. But if you are missing out the major chunk of India's spending audience, I'm not sure how much you can scale. Absolutely, Arjuman. So, a lot of people ask me, what are the top business trends to look out, once this pandemic thing is over? Complete supply chains are going to be reimagined. People buying from ABC are no longer going to buy from there. They're going to find which is the better guy who can supply, who is online, and they're going to go there. We're going to see more electric, hydrogen, ethanol. We're going to see all of that. You are going to be able to see the very base of consumer behavior change. People will stop going out shopping. Mom and pop stores will get over. Because today I have people who are buying jewelry, shoes, you name it, everything sitting in their homes. Now that they are open to that, very few people are going to go out again. So all those people running mom and pop stores, be aware, it's going to be very difficult to get them back because they now know they can save time. Work to home model, we all know that. And it's no longer going to be just recovery, it is going to be rebound. People are going to make more money. There are going to be many more opportunities for employment. There are going to be much more in terms of money available to sell, to buy. Rashmi, lovely, you still can go outside. I didn't say you should not go outside. But even after the pandemic, people will do all of these things, but now you're exposed to everything coming home. A lot of people can even shift to villages for all I know. In rural areas where, there's no pandemic threat. So what are the discontinuities? See, wherever there are discontinuities, there'll be opportunities. How do we as entrepreneurs add value to it? By creating a response to it. So these are the responses. You have an aging society, you say, Arey Baba, education can be lifelong. Food is still required for every population. At the same time, technology provides you new knowledge. It provides disruptive technologies. Deregulation of markets means you will have an easy supply chain. Anybody will be able to supply, like what they did with the farmer laws. They said the farmer should be open to sell to anybody. So it's no longer that you have to buy only from designated A, B, C, D, E. And even regulations around the world are going to ease out, I'm telling you. So be prepared to sell to the world market. Be prepared to serve the world market when you are looking at a service. All of these regulations that are inter-country and all that are all going to go. Be ready for that. So I'm going to go back through the entire thing that we discussed so far. When you are evaluating an opportunity, the first question you should ask yourself is, how will that opportunity make you money? How easily can you explain the problem and the opportunity in less than 2 minutes? The same thing, I also used to fund films. So people used to come, I say, you have 2 minutes, tell me the story. So that's the same thing. If you have a business, you have 2 minutes, tell me the story, I'll understand and tell you whether it's doable or not doable. So you won't waste time. So you have to be able to express that story in 2 minutes. That what is the problem, what is the opportunity, and how are you able to make money from that opportunity? Whenever you have an opportunity, invest less time and effort. Baba, what it will be worth in 1 or 2 years? Look at long term, figure out what is the long term thing going to be, and do a detailed analysis of the market around you for that product or service and where it will be in 3 to 5 years. And whether this idea that you are thinking about, or the opportunity or you're thinking about, does it need a company? Does it need setting up an enterprise? Or can we just do out with it? But yes, Janki asked me experience gained. Yes, I tell most people, unless you have failed 2-3 times, it's not going to work. You're not going to be successful. So feel free to fail. Fail small, risk little, so that you don't fail too big. But it's okay to fail. Even if you fail, it's fine. Some of the best entrepreneurs that I'm working with, and they are giving me the best return on my money, are people that have failed 2 or 3 times. And the people that you have around you, and by that I don't mean relatives, I mean people that are part of your team. Your relatives are not your team. If you feel they are, you are mistaken. Find the right people for taking on the team and let that team execute that idea if it is possible. If it is not possible, one-man shows generally close down. Always find a co-founder. Always put together a team. And somebody asked me at the beginning of the program, of the session, that whether we can team up, 2 of us here. Absolutely feel free to team up. We'd love it. If you have 2, 3, 4 people that can get together and, team up. More questions? Will the customer enable you to profit from this opportunity? How large is the market? And do you actually believe that, or is that something that you just read or you feel? All these are questions which all of you, I think we've talked about earlier. So what is the first thing all of you are going to now do? What we want all of you to do is describe the problem that you feel you have a solution for. Write an elevator pitch, write the vision, write the mission statement, write the business model, and tell us, why do you think your solution is compelling? And does it have a sustainable competitive advantage? Put together an executive summary, something that you can read off or talk about in less than 2 minutes, and tell me how you can make your first $1 million. And the best ideas that come to me here, I can assure you I will invest in those ideas. I'm putting in my email here for all of you. I just put in. Yes, Ulka, if you have all this created, happy to. I'm just putting in my email there. Feel free to send it to me. But whenever you send to me, you have to be 100% confident that this is the right thing you want to do and you are in the right place. taking you from there to the next level. Obviously, you'll be part of the mentoring sessions. We'll work together. But apart from that, personally, I'll support some of those ideas. And some of those ideas I'll also refer to friends. A lot more coming from, harnessing, changing opportunities, some basic gyan that is there. I always tell entrepreneurs should never have an ego. Because for entrepreneurs, when you have customers, you cannot afford an ego. You need to keep collaborating, make everyone an imaginer, and try not to organize your time, because you should be able to do everything. Multiply yourself to do almost everything that you should at the same time. And try and build relationships with people which are going to be long term. Again, what I said earlier, always look at how your enterprise, how your business model is going to offer you more and more opportunities. Set goals. All of these things we will talk about. I'm sure other mentors also will talk about all of these things in depth, so that all of you get a clear idea of what we are expecting from you when you actually next time after the mentoring, when you pitch to somebody, that guy to say that this is it, that this is the woman that I want to work with, this is the entrepreneur that I want to work with. I don't want to look any further. That is how prepared we want all of you to become after this entire mentoring. Another case I was telling you about, her name earlier, which is Quarantine Bakery. So she's also here itself. Though she had something else as a business earlier, now she's very happy. She gets 4 orders a day for cakes, and each cake she sells between 1800 to 2200 rupees, and she makes the most exquisite cakes. We were talking about a SWOT. Do this SWOT. COVID does not provide extra business, but there are loads and loads of opportunities. There are loads and loads of people that have gone on to e-marketplaces and multiplied their business. Many entrepreneurs have found opportunities within this. If you are one of that, please feel free to drop a mail. Tell about your situation to Sushma ji. Her email is DG, D for director, G for general, @indiasmeforum.com. I put that email there. If you are one of those entrepreneurs who have made it through the, found the opportunity in the midst of the COVID crisis, let us know. We'll put you onto a separate group that will work with you. This is what he had said long back. So that's where we are. Now let me shut this presentation and let me take some of the questions that we have here. Best means for reaching out to a potential customer to validate the problem and solution, please. Baba, best mean, today Sushma ji has a database of 1.12 crore people that are entrepreneurs around the country. So if your target is entrepreneurs, feel free to approach Sushma ji. She will form a small test group for you and we will pitch the idea to them. Not a problem at all. PropTech startup is a good idea, no doubt about it, but let me know how different are you going to be from the 500,000 startups on PropTech that are there already. IndiaMart and Alibaba, any source or listing where we can get in touch with vendors and suppliers? There's thousands of them. You have Just Dial, you have, every city, there is a specific thing. Every sector has an association. Every area has an association of industries and suppliers. So there are millions of ways to actually find suppliers or vendors. And wherever you are unable to, ask the mentor desk. So they will come back to you immediately. Using technology effectively, Shweta, we have a session which is going to be on this. Network issues, I can't help because these are copyrighted stuff. We are not supposed to share. But like I said, the team will put together a reading material from this and send to you. And that will most probably be today itself. We are in e-commerce from Nanda and shopping product to remote place. We are finding a lot of difficulty in any solution. Shipping product to remote place. Okay. Nanda, we work with UPS, DHL, and also India Post. So if you are finding problems, are you working with Amazon or any of those guys? So please elucidate on the question a little more. So then I can come back to you with a little more better answer. How to figure out execution of the present team? Any factors to keep it? We have a team workshop also lined up for you guys. So that will be ahead, Snehal. So sorry, Dr. Shubhangi. So we'll come back to you on that. Snehal, very good question. Amazing question. How to find out the right co-founder? She does not only have to connect with the idea, she has to connect with you as a person. If you are unable to have the same values, the same, way you are thinking, you're going to be on two different levels. You need to have co-founders which are willing to go the long haul with you, not for 8 months or 1 year or whatever. People that can be with you for 4, 5, 6 years, at least. And that is the sort of people that you need to figure out. Apart from that, obviously, it's interpersonal relations. So, people that appeal to you. Janki, yes, we have 2 sessions which are going to be on how to digitally utilize the best internet, technologies that are available now. Pragya is asking a completely new idea or a tested product and try to acquire the leftover market. Pragya, any day, a completely new idea for me. If you have a completely new idea, green idea, compared to any tested product and leftover market and all that, I'll always go for the new idea. Mega, we will send that slide to you on, we'll be sharing with everybody on the first million, business basic modeling that we said. So that will be part of the assessment. So we will share that with all of you. Mansi says, I already have a business. However, I submitted an idea which was completely different than my business. Absolutely, Mansi, it is your business. You've got to do it. So you can change it whenever you want. And business is not baggage. You can any point in time decide that this is not working and get it over with. It's exactly like a marriage, which is also as easy these days. Don't want the husband, throw him out, stay alone, you'll be better off. So I'm just joking. I don't mean to say that to all of you, but that's how it should be. I've seen very, very strong women in my life, and I don't believe that a woman needs a man only. Without that, she cannot survive. So that is where I come from. Soumya says, how to approach municipalities and government bodies for business. Great ideas, preferably look at GEM, Government e-marketplace. I think there's going to be a session with the government e-marketplace guys also. And Sushma ji will talk to you about it later. So Varsha says, can I modify my business idea? Absolutely, feel free. Anonymous attendee, guys, why don't you put your names? It's very difficult. I don't know whether it's the same person or different people. Anonymous attendee, how to start about an idea that's related to food technology, but require good financial background that we don't have. Arey Baba, none of the best ideas needed. They all need money, but none of them had it. So don't worry. If you're able to have the best idea, let us know. There are millions of people like me that are investing in small, medium enterprises, startup levels, seed levels, growth levels. There's millions and millions of us. So don't worry. You just have to find the right person to buy into your idea. Vinkamara Seema Dahiya. Seema ji, is there scope in starting an import and export business of raw material to and from India? I was thinking on these lines. Well, there's millions of people that are doing this, Seema ji. And import is very easy in India. You can get anything you want, and export is a little bit difficult, but then it pays very, very well. I'd rather have you look at the opportunity that is within India and make something in India or service in India. Not only service, make in India only for India, but also for throughout the world. And similarly, when you're setting up a service or a portal or anything of that sort, it should be for the entire world, not just India. Tech institutes for tech transfers. I'm not very sure, Shubhangi, because I find tech institutes are very slow. We don't have Stanfords and all of these which are funded and they have people coming there. And, we also tried working with a few. We work with some of the IIMs. We also work with engineering institutes and all that. But most problem is that most people in India tend to only look at how do I get a job. So the entire education is from the point of view of finding a job. As all of you today, as mothers, only when you go out and start an enterprise and tell your children that you don't have to look only at going and working for somebody, will we change this? So it needs maybe 1 or 2 more generations. Meenakshi says, I'm in the ideation stage for the purpose of finding co-founders and making team. Can we network and participate in other platforms while on course? Absolutely, feel free. In fact, we are going to open the group also today. So you can all introduce yourselves and those that are looking for co-founders and maybe a slight bit of the ideas that you guys have. So then people can talk to each other. Tarushika says, we have a relatively new product. Convincing clients is a tough job. Tell me about it. It's easier than convincing an investor. You just need to, we have a session on, both marketing and sales also. So we will hopefully be able to help you there. Mental health sector, very important, Archana. A lot of people have talked to me about the possibility of, I won't name the solutions and all that, but a lot of people are working on possibilities or opportunities in the mental health sector. Abhinanda says, assessing my market in EdTech and the money to make is a bit ambiguous. Like my initial market was boom. You should. If you feel it's not making money, but feel free to reach out to me. I am working on a couple of EdTech startups, so I'd be happy to provide any insight that you might want. Dr. Chabra, I'm interested to start a training firm for MRs of pharma SMEs based on a module developed by me during my PhD. Absolutely, please feel free. Share with us. We have over 3,000 pharma companies that we are working with. So we'd be very, very happy to take it forward. Not a problem at all. Ulka says, I've been coaching adolescents in groups and now more in India and in California. Now, I want to move from, please feel free, join us. Well, that's exactly what we do. We have been working with thousands of entrepreneurs in India. So feel free to send us your information and we'd be happy to share it with you and share it with entrepreneurs also. Smita says, how difficult will it be to export gluten-free baked cooked products worldwide in terms of government involvement? Well, you see, foodstuffs, there's a little bit of stringent quality checks that are there. Otherwise, Bikanerwala's biggest export is US and Canada. So it's not difficult to export food items, whether they are gluten-free, baked or cooked or whatever, doesn't matter. There's lots of, if you look at the opportunities and the exports from India, they are huge. Sangeeta, yes, you can ship vegetables. Europe is our biggest market. Europe and Middle East is our biggest market for vegetables. But you can also lose money because it's based on the market rates at that point in time. Garlic Nilgiris. Oh, I lost that. What was that? Garlic Nilgiris. Too little for me to take a guess. I don't want to take a wild guess what is written here. Sushma says, can we get any financial help from? Absolutely. We will ensure that all the government schemes are open to you and we will follow up for all of you after you have made your projects and all that. And we'll ensure that you get funding from the government. Why only government? You see, all the banks are there. There are also private banks. There are also small finance corporations. There are multiple options. Meher, you will have to, you see, like the same way when we fall in love with somebody that we don't know, and there are times when we actually give up our own parents because we feel more comfortable with the other guy, the same way that we have to find a co-founder. No other different way. But there are certain do's and don'ts or experiences of other people. We can share that separately with you, or maybe with everybody. Aziel says EdTech is certainly the best. How about homeschooling? Well, homeschooling, there are a lot of people that are thinking about the idea. I'm not very sure how long it's going to work, but could be a great idea. Aditi Bandakar, sir, how to move from ideation to product generation? When see, today we are only talking about the problem and the opportunities. We have a lot more time to talk about all the other things, and we will surely go one by one. See, we cannot answer all your questions in one go, but what we are going to do is the mentor desk is going to take all of your questions, which will anyway come to us in the form of a list, and we'll try and offer solutions to each one of you. The mentor desk will reply to you on your emails. We have your emails also, so feel free. Sorry, I have not seen this. There's more than 99 messages that are unread on the chat. I'm so sorry. We've already crossed the time. We've already crossed 6. There's 5 minutes to 6. So finally, what I'm going to tell you is hang on. I'm sorry, I can't reply everybody, but I will try and get the mentor desk to get answers from me and send across to everybody. All of you have my contacts now, so feel free to write to me, tag me, and I will reply to you someday or the other. Whenever I'm not busy, I keep on. This is exactly what I do. This is my pastime. I keep on responding to people. So feel free to send me communication. At the same time, Sushma ji, is there anybody that you would want to invite to talk, or or we've already crossed? I've eaten most of the time that you had.
I think we've crossed our time today, and we've answered also many questions. However, okay, what we will do is we'll try and figure out some mechanism where we can do questions, for 10 minutes, 15 minutes after the session. So because this was the first session, we wanted to identify sectors, help you understand how to identify opportunities in your sectors, identify potential in that sector, what are the sunrise sectors. And right now you are, with just your ideas, you are in a space where you can choose your sector. You can take a well-informed decision. So I would suggest that do some thinking, try and answer all the questions that were posed to you in this presentation today, and try and write these answers. Try to share this on email with us, and we will try and evaluate, assess these ideas, and help you take a proper decision for your business. So with that, I think today we will not get into the discussion mode, but from next session onwards, we will get into discussion mode, because we expect that you, decide on your business idea and sector to begin with, because that is when other following sessions are going to be helpful to you. We will be posting the assessment link on WhatsApp, as well as we will be sending it on your email. We will give you 3 days to fill in that assessment form. Just in case anyone is finding any issue, any challenges for filling that assessment form, please feel free to write to us. We will also be opening WhatsApp group for messages, but it's my humble request that please don't, force me into getting into a role of a matron, because we will not like sending forwards good morning, cheering messages on the WhatsApp. Let's just maintain discipline about only business related discussion. No need to write whether you have submitted the assessment, any confirmation for assessment. No need to mention anything about that. If you have submitted the assessment, well and good, it has reached us. You will receive a call only in case your assessment has not reached us. So our team will reach out to you only in cases otherwise. Else, if we've received information from you, you won't hear from us, and you will only hear responses and replies from us. So with that, thank you very much for being with us. It was 100% participation today. Let's continue that for the rest of the weeks. And I'm sure I look forward to having, 230 flourishing enterprises at the end of this journey of 6 weeks. So thank you very much, and have a great weekend. Stay safe, all of you.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you.